Hey, Dave Knight here from 123daytrade.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Today, what I want to do is talk about futures day trading tips number 11. 11. Two fives and a one make 11. Or I don't have enough. I don't have enough to tell it right now.
Why?
This is my big boy, my little man. He's now 10. That's Brennan. If you watched the very first video that I put out on YouTube, um, he was sitting right here in my lap when he had his little blankie, and he's not that small anymore. Oh, how time flies, right? That was 2008, I believe, so was that 8 years ago? I guess he was 2. Wow, 2 years old. Now 10. Anyway, I get off subject and off track. What I want to do is talk about my yesterday's trading was what brought this tip up, and I want to talk about it. What I want to call this trading tip is only one attempt at pivot point on any a trade until it decisively breaks through one direction or the other. I know it's long, but we'll just call it the pivot point trade. So now, more times than not, when you go through the pivot point, which I put this line back on here at pivot, 43.20 was yesterday's pivot. We had, prior to the market opening, we had been to the pivot. Let's see how many times. I think we were at pivot 3 times. And normally when you go to pivot, then at least 2 to 3 times, especially the second time, the pivot isn't in play as much as it was the very first time that you hit pivot. So pivot point is actually, the pivot point magnetism that I talk about in one of the day trading tips, how it attracts to the market. Well, it attracted, and it took me, yesterday I experienced a little bit more losses than I want to. So what I want to do is make a rule or a trading tip that helps stop me from trading through the pivot point until it decisively makes a move one direction or the other. I believe the market was going to go up yesterday, but I thought the market was going to go down first and then bottom and then perhaps make that move or continue to move down. But it kept basing, and I ran out of capital, or I ran out of ammo to be able to trade it, and it really took off. I mean, if you look at today's market, it's trading at 45.05, and it made a nice run late in the trading session yesterday. So it made a move through here at pivot. It made a move through here back to pivot. It went up to pivot. Basically it was confirming that the market wanted to go longer. Now, this was the highest trading bar during the session. So the CL port strategy that I use is the strategy that tells me to go short. So what I had was a short roughly right through this area right here. So my first entry ended up being at 44.25. And I was trading through the pivot point. Well, a lot of times this works. So you think, well, you're trading through pivot. No, we had already been to pivot. So I was expecting the market to go ahead and run on down, to at least run at least 1p in that direction down. The market wasn't showing that, it was showing that it was a top more than it was like it was going to continue to move up, at least preliminarily in the morning. Obviously I was wrong, but here's the point. So if you're wrong the first time that you attempt at pivot, then you need to stop any further trades into pivot and only look one direction until you decisively break through, and then you make your wave. So the 0, 1, 2 or the 1, 2, 3 wave, the Ralph Nelson Elliott wave. So that is my tip. And if I would have held off on my short entries, I would have had enough capital left to capture this trade right here. And it went up through here. It retraces back down, but you're in here, right? This would have been your area that you would have been in, or right in this area, or you would have waited for it to move up through here and then got in. But regardless, you were in. And even if you took break even off of this trading opportunity right here, it makes another fantastic move later in the session. And this one here is the one that just continues to go up and up and up. So yeah, I believe that we were going to do something yesterday. I just ran out of capital. So this is what I want to call my pivot point trade. So we'll call it PPT, I guess. In other words, you only get one chance to, not to be confused with the plunge protection team. We call it the PPT trade, the pivot point trade. You only get one chance to trade into pivot, and then you have to stop that trades until you break through pivot, and then that would be like the Ralph Nelson Elliott wave to get yourself back in, and your entry would be like below the pivot point. All right, this is Dave Knight here at 123daytrade.com. This is called the pivot point trade. I finally figured out what I want to call it. The pivot point trade. You only can take one attempt at pivot point, and if you lose that attempt, then you have to stand aside and wait for it to break through to confirm that it wants to go through pivot before you attempt going at it again. Otherwise, you're looking at the other side of the market to take the trade to, in this case, would have been long yesterday. God bless, take care, and we'll see you on the next video that I put together. Bye for now.